Hello and welcome. This is Notibot Ying. Tonight, we bring you a recap of the latest developments in the ongoing tensions between the United States and Iran. The conflict has reached a critical juncture as tensions escalated earlier this week, with airstrikes and retaliatory measures exchanged between U.S. and Iranian forces. We'll take you through the key events that led to a surprise announcement from President Trump and what it means for global security, trade, and energy markets. Our top stories will provide you with all the updates on this developing crisis. Breaking news emerges from the Middle East as President Donald Trump announces a surprise ceasefire in Iran's ongoing conflict, amid diplomatic breakthroughs in the region. Good evening. I'm your name, and this is a special report from Jazeera English. We're coming to you live as a ceasefire has been declared in the ongoing conflict between Iran and the U.S. In a surprise move, former U.S. President Donald Trump announced that he was ordering an end to hostilities with Iran. According to reports, Tehran has agreed to allow safe passage for maritime traffic through the Strait of Hormuz. The news comes after weeks of escalating tensions between the two nations, which had seen Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps launch a series of attacks on oil tankers in the region. The U.S. responded by deploying additional troops and warships to the area, sparking concerns about the potential for all-out conflict. In a statement, Trump said that he was ordering the ceasefire as part of his efforts to reduce tensions with Iran. He also announced that he would be meeting with Iranian officials in Pakistan next month as part of talks aimed at resolving their differences. The news has been welcomed by many as a significant step towards reducing tensions in the region. However, Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, has said that the ceasefire does not mean that the end of war is guaranteed. He warned that Iran would continue to defend itself against any threats it perceives from the U.S. The implications of this development are far-reaching and will be closely watched in the coming days and weeks. We'll continue to bring you updates on this developing story as more information becomes available. As tensions escalate with Iran following President Trump's decision to withdraw from the landmark nuclear deal, a familiar weakness of American foreign policy begins to emerge. Good evening. I'm your name, and this is your news recap. The ceasefire in Iran has dealt a significant blow to President Trump's campaign against the Tehran regime, reinforcing views among both adversaries and NATO that the U.S. strategy marks a strategic setback. This assessment comes from people familiar with the thinking across capitals in Europe and the Middle East. In January, the U.S. launched a military operation targeting Iranian ballistic missile facilities, which led to a retaliatory attack on U.S. forces stationed in Iraq. The resulting escalation prompted the Trump administration to reimpose sanctions on Iran, sparking widespread outrage and economic hardship. However, a ceasefire brokered by U.S. and European diplomats has now brought an end to the conflict. The implications of this development are far-reaching. China and Russia, longtime adversaries of the U.S., have emerged as beneficiaries of America's strategic overreach. By squandering its strength in the region, the U.S. has undermined its ability to counter the growing influence of these nations. The NATO alliance is also rethinking its approach to Iran, with some member states questioning the wisdom of aligning itself with the U.S. on this issue. The ceasefire has also led to renewed calls for diplomacy and a more nuanced approach to dealing with Tehran. As the world watches the U.S. struggle to maintain its credibility, one thing is clear: America's campaign against Iran has had significant consequences, and it will be years before the full impact becomes apparent. Following a dramatic escalation in tensions between the United States and Iran, a breakthrough deal has been reached on a 2-week ceasefire, marking a crucial shift. The United States and Iran have reached a 2-week ceasefire agreement, just hours before the deadline set by President Trump on Tuesday. According to reports, the agreement was facilitated by Pakistan and marks a significant shift from the tense standoff between the two nations. As part of the deal, the U.S. and Israel will suspend their bombing campaigns against Iran for 14 days, pending Iran's commitment to reopen the Strait of Hormuz for safe passage during the ceasefire period. The strait, which is a crucial waterway through which about 20% of the world's oil supplies pass, has been a focal point of tension between the two nations. The U.S. president hailed the agreement as a big day for world peace and stated that Iran had had enough of the conflict. However, not all parties are on board with the deal. Israel disputed that the agreement included a pause in its attacks on Iran-backed Hezbollah in Lebanon and continued its attacks on Wednesday morning. The ceasefire has sent shockwaves through global markets, with oil prices plummeting by over 13% following news of the agreement. Brent crude oil fell to $94.74, making it one of the largest single-day declines on record. The deal also saw a surge in stock markets worldwide as investors breathed a sigh of relief at the reprieve from the conflict. The significance of this agreement cannot be overstated. It marks a significant shift in the complex and often volatile dynamics between the U.S., Iran, and its allies. As tensions in the region continue to ebb and flow, it remains to be seen whether this ceasefire will hold or if the underlying conflicts will ultimately prevail. Following a dramatic escalation of tensions in the Middle East, a surprise breakthrough has emerged between the United States and Iran. The United States and Iran have agreed to a 2-week ceasefire in the region, following days of escalating tensions between the two nations. The agreement was brokered by Pakistan and reached just hours before President Donald Trump's deadline for Iranian compliance. As of 3 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time today, Iran has agreed to unblock the Strait of Hormuz, a vital waterway that separates the Middle East from Asia and controls much of the world's oil supply. This decision comes after a tense standoff between the two nations, with the U.S. threatening to destroy Iranian civilization if its demands were not met. The deal does not include Lebanon, according to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who stated that Iran's presence in the region is a threat to our very existence. However, this exclusion has been welcomed by Lebanese officials, who have long opposed Iranian interference in their country. This development marks a significant shift in the conflict, which had raised fears of all-out war between the U.S. and Iran. The agreement comes after weeks of heightened tensions, sparked by the U.S. withdrawal from the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA, nuclear deal with Iran. The ceasefire is seen as a vital step towards de-escalating the crisis, but its long-term implications remain uncertain. For now, it appears that Iran has agreed to comply with the U.S. demands, at least for the next 2 weeks. As negotiations continue in Islamabad on Friday, one thing is clear: the region remains on high alert, and further developments are likely to unfold in the coming days. After a shocking turn of events in the Middle East, sources close to the White House reveal that President Trump has agreed to an unprecedented ceasefire. According to reports from CBS News World, U.S. President Donald Trump has agreed to suspend airstrikes against Iran for at least 2 weeks. This development comes as tensions between the United States and Iran escalated following a U.S. drone strike that killed top Iranian military commander Qasem Soleimani last week. The U.S. had been carrying out targeted airstrikes in Iraq, targeting Iranian-backed militant groups, in response to Soleimani's death. The strikes led to widespread condemnation from regional powers and raised fears of a wider conflict in the Middle East. Trump announced on Wednesday that he would be suspending further military action against Iran until February 22nd, citing concerns about the escalating violence and the need for diplomacy. The move is seen as an attempt by Trump to de-escalate tensions with Iran, which has threatened to retaliate against U.S. forces in the region. The agreement was reportedly brokered by Russian President Vladimir Putin, who called Trump on Tuesday to urge him to calm down the situation. The U.S. and Iranian governments have also been engaged in diplomatic efforts, with Secretary of State Mike Pompeo holding talks with his Iranian counterpart in Tehran. This development is significant because it could potentially prevent a wider conflict between the U.S. and Iran. However, the situation remains volatile, and any miscalculation or escalation could still lead to further violence. The international community will be watching closely as this situation unfolds, and analysts are urging caution as tensions remain high. After a tense standoff, U.S. and Iranian leaders have reached a crucial agreement that could potentially lift tensions and ease global concerns about energy supplies. The United States and Iran have agreed on a 2-week ceasefire, marking a significant shift in the ongoing tensions between the two nations. According to reports from Bloomberg Politics, the deal was brokered by U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif, and other senior officials. Under the terms of the agreement, Tehran has pledged to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, a critical waterway that connects the Persian Gulf to the ocean, which had been closed off to prevent U.S. warships from passing through. The move is seen as a major concession by Iran, which had refused to allow American vessels to transit the strait for several days. The ceasefire comes after a series of escalating incidents between the two countries, including a drone strike that killed top Iranian military commander Qasem Soleimani in January and retaliatory missile strikes against U.S. forces in Iraq. The tensions had raised concerns about an energy crisis, with oil prices surging as the world's largest oil producers, Saudi Arabia and Russia, struggled to fill the void left by Iran. The deal is a significant development in the ongoing rivalry between the U.S. and Iran, which has been fueled by competing interests in the Middle East. The agreement marks a rare moment of calm in the region, but it remains to be seen whether both sides will honor their commitments. As one diplomat noted, this is not the end of the conflict, but rather a pause. That's all for today's news recap. Thank you for watching. We'll continue to bring you updates on the latest developments in U.S.-Iran relations. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more breaking news coverage. Follow us on social media for real-time updates. Until next time, we bid you farewell.